Hey everyone, Main Chicken Tender here, and I'm doing interviews. I'd like to introduce you guys.
I'm Erin.
I'm Koren. This is my wife.
And we're going to do some questions, they're going to answer it, and you're going to see some other chicken tenders. Question, why did you get chickens in the first place? For meat, eggs, just pets?
Well, for eggs, and because my friend had 6 that she wanted to get rid of. So she said, free chickens, and I said, sure, we eat eggs. And I think we were already thinking about getting goats then. So we were like, well, maybe we should start with chickens.
So free chickens and a $600 chicken coop later, we had some eggs. And then the rest is history.
Yep.
How long have you had chickens?
I think about 4 years.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
And you already said where you got them from. How many do you currently have?
We have 18 right now. We have 14 that are about 3/4 size. That we actually got 10 of them from Dustin and 4 from Paris Farmers Union, and one of which was a rooster because we want to start trying to raise some of our own. So we're going to see how that goes. If the rooster's friendly enough.
Yep.
And we had 4 original gangster chickens who've been around since forever. Out of the original 6, we lost a few, and then we got a couple more from.
Paris Farmers Union.
No, we got some for free from Robert's Farm. They had a lot of chickens there, so we didn't even know how old those ones were, and so we've had some of those, and they have survived multiple attacks from like predators, and somehow those ones are the ones that are smart enough to somehow always get away or get up out of where they can't find them. So
They know better.
I told you before we had 8 chickens killed all at once a few months ago, and those 4 that survived were some of the originals from like 4 or 5 years ago or something.
Yeah, so they must have learned.
I think so.
Do you have a favorite breed of chicken?
Not yet.
Normally we just got like the golden comets just because they're really good egg producers, and they seem to produce quicker. Like after they've gotten to their full size, it comes faster, and then they produce really good for 3 or 4 years. So we got
And
mostly
really big
those
eggs.
and really huge eggs. Like you can't even close the carton a lot of times.
Oh, extra large.
Yeah.
Huge,
Yeah.
yeah. And so we got mostly those, but then we'd always get a couple of just a specialty one just to have like something fancier to look at. So we've always had a few kind of glamorous ones, but out of the ones you gave us, they're just
They're amazing.
mix of all kinds of colors. So
A mix, yeah.
it'll be cool. And then the eggs often are like different colors depending on the breeds, the shells.
Yeah,
Stuff,
so it'll be interesting
that's
what you
special.
get from those ones too. I'm sure you'll have some blue, and you might get like a dark greenish one depending on it. Yeah, that'd be pretty neat
Cool.
to actually see what you get from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll probably be middle of winter by the time you actually see what they get for eggs. Let's see. How much time do you spend with them?
Well, when we first got them with the kids, they spent a lot of time with them because they would always cuddle them and play with them. And we actually hatched a bunch in our basement.
Not hatched,
well, not
them,
hatched,
raised
but
them.
raised from like the little
Big chicks.
2-day, 3-day-old tweeters.
Yeah.
And that was cool. So they spent more time with them then, but like it also was kind of gross because it made the basement all like kind of like
Smelly.
white, dusty
Oh, yeah,
stuff. So it was
stains.
kind of gross. So we
With the
didn't wanna
shavings, the dust
Yeah.
gets everywhere.
The whole
toss
basement.
it all up. Our kids really don't play with the chickens much now, so they haven't got socialized too much
Because they're out here, I think, instead
instead of in the
instead
house.
of in the basement.
Oh, yeah.
When they were chicks, they didn't come down and handle them a lot. Our kids are also getting older too, so
Busy driving cars.
they're interested in real chicks.
Not these
Not
guys.
these kind anymore.
Jobs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we don't spend as much time with them, but
They grew up. The kids grew up too.
They did.
we're going to transfer them actually tonight to the big chicken coop. I built that last year. That's our big beast that if we ever want like 30 or 40 chickens, we get enough space, but if not, we'll just keep it at a lesser amount.
Reasonable.
We'll see.
18.
Which is quite a bit of eggs, I gotta
Yes,
tell you.
it is.
Do you free range them or do you keep them in the pen?
Well, we've done both. We used to do free range like a lot, like on top of our whole property, which is like a big kind of field. We were really lucky. We didn't have any get killed for quite a while, and we have a lot of hawks and owls and eagles, bald eagles, foxes. There's a lot of stuff around here.
A lot of predators.
We didn't really have any issues. The first several that got killed was actually by a neighborhood dog that got loose and just mauled 3 or 4 of them. And then we went probably another year or so without any issues, and then we had one time where we left the coop open and something killed a few. And then this past year we actually left the coop open again. My fault, I did it.
My fault, I distracted you.
I'm glad it wasn't the kids.
Yeah.
So I want to get back to doing a lot more free ranging, but I also want to get like fences on each side of my property, because we had one neighbor on this side who has chickens, so he doesn't really care that much, but like even when they don't care, like sometimes your chickens do destroy stuff. He has chickens as well, so it isn't as big of a deal, but like our chickens were bullies and we're going over and like chasing all his chickens out of their house and then eating all their food. So he was like, could you like not let your chickens out till at least like 8 in the morning so mine gets food?
Get some food.
So at that point I just locked mine up for a while. And
oh, that's funny.
I really like having them free range because they just eat so many bugs. And
We let them out sometimes in the afternoon. Like
2, 3, 4.
late afternoon, so they're not out long enough to roam too far, and then they'll go back in on their own. Especially now that it's getting dark earlier, so it's just a couple hours to get out.
But I also have an automatic chicken door that I picked up last year, and I just haven't installed that.
Yeah.
But that'll make it so that we don't ever forget. And
Yeah.
also we have a bunch of kids, so like everybody rotates, so like it's very easy for that to happen.
Yeah.
And, really
Somebody
don't want-
forgets it's their night.
Out of
Yeah,
routine.
so-
Yeah.
And the chickens would do better with a routine of a door opening and closing at a certain time. So just on the list of do's.
Yeah.
Yeah, just be careful with that, because one night before we closed the door, we noticed that one of our chickens was laying in the doorway.
Oh.
That's a big concern, yeah, with
Like it drops on them.
Drops right in where
and
it
because
closes.
they're so like tired, they're like, oh, they won't get up and move, so it just
It'll just,
slowly
like, suffocate them.
yeah, and it like closes on them and they just suffocate.
Chickens aren't the smartest thing.
No, and we've only seen them ever do that once.
Yeah, and that was with the lavender. And
Yeah,
they
the
were only
lavender, I
like 2
don't know.
months old, so.
Oh.
And I think, I don't know what it was, but it was just like one random day she was just sitting right there before we closed it. I'm like, good thing I don't have an automatic door
Yeah.
because we're closed right on her. So one thing to be aware of. Too
chickens-
bad they didn't have like one that like swept down
Yeah.
Pushed
and
them
pushed
out.
it out of
Get
the
back
way
in
instead
there.
of like come down. That'd be awesome.
It's not a bad idea.
No, not really. That's $1 million
Because ours like
idea.
to perch right on the doorway, like on that one that we slide in. They actually sit right there.
Oh, do they? I think it's because they like to see the light.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, it's still daylight. I'm
Yeah.
gonna stay in. So actually, it goes into the next one. Do you use a heat lamp?
We've done both. In this big coop, I was a little worried because it's so huge, and we had like maybe 14 birds in there, and also there's like cracks in it because you want some ventilation anyways. But I just didn't really know how cold it was going to be, and so we started with a heat lamp, but eventually it
Blew out.
blew out, and then they seemed like they were doing fine. So I was like, I think it's better to not have them go all winter, just so it gives them a rest.
For laying, you mean?
Yeah, because they don't produce as much. But with this design, I put in a bunch of windows that I had lying around or that I got from people. So that way, like, they'll still get a lot of light even in the winter, which I think is healthier for them in the daytime at least. But
Yeah.
my plan, I think, is to not do a heat lamp this year.
Not at all?
But we'll see. I thought about throwing some insulation in there too, but I don't know if that's a little overkill. You insulate your chicken coop, but
Well, if you insulate it and then you have ventilation, it kind of
yeah.
almost counteract, because I thought the same
Well,
thing.
I would insulate it probably like to the window height or so, and then like the top would still breathe. But I don't know.
You get deep litter insulation.
Yeah,
We'll go with that.
yeah, the deep litter method.
Yeah.
Keep throwing stuff on it.
keep-
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing the last few years. So it's been working. As long as you have the cross breeze on the like vents above where they're sleeping, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
If like they're gonna sit where the wind will blow, you might as well put them in the freezer.
Right.
It's like the wind is what
Was
freezes
bad,
them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I found.
Yeah, and I was a little worried with that because like there's definitely cracks between the boards on the spacing, so there is some airflow that goes through.
All right. What type of food do you give them?
We give them Green Mountain organic
egg layer pellets.
Pellets, yeah.
And then
And-
any of our scraps of vegetables and peelings and fruit and different. We have quite a bit of compost stuff. We have a lot of stuff that we just throw in the compost, but anything that's like worth eating, we'll give to them. And they also climb up through the compost and pick at it as well.
Yeah, when they get out, they're in there. We don't give them bread though.
No
A
bread?
lot of people give chickens bread. but
No
we-
meat.
No bread. No. I guess they're vegetarians.
You're vegetarian chickens.
Yeah.
I guess some people feed them like everything, like meat scraps. and-
Chicken, you do.
I do.
Some people even feed
I
their
let 'em have
chickens chicken.
Everything.
That seems pretty simple.
Everything. The only thing is that there's avocados and like mold.
and
They don't like. They can't have avocados.
No, it's bad, really bad.
And also raw potatoes.
Raw potatoes, yeah, raw potatoes, avocados.
Definitely giving them potato peelings.
Oh well.
Whoops.
Well, what are you gonna do?
Maybe that's why that one. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no.
Well, now we know.
Yeah, avocados, raw onions. Apparently, onions. But I've given them onions, and I haven't had a problem. Maybe it's
They don't seem to like them. I've
No.
noticed when we throw them pieces of onions, they've never really gone
Yeah.
for it.
yeah.
And sometimes we give them like eggs cooked up if we have like too many eggs or eggs that went
Scrambled
bad or
eggs,
ones that you're like questionable.
Or
You
when
just-
that broke,
yeah,
fell
just
on the ground.
crush
or
up the
something,
shell.
Cook it up.
But you don't. If you give them the pieces of the eggshell, like you really do want to crush it up.
I turned mine into a powder. What I did was after I scrambled the eggs, I put them in the oven to like make
Dry
them
'em
really
and-
dry them out and make them brittle, and then I put them in a bowl and crushed them up almost into like a powder, and then I sprinkled it in the food.
Oh,
Calcium.
nice.
Yeah.
We have a friend right now has like some chickens that like went over the deep end with that, and now they're like eating all their eggs. We actually just gave her 2 of the ceramic eggs that you buy when you like want to teach your chickens how to roost or like
where to lay,
whatever,
yeah.
or where to lay their eggs, and the chickens broke them. They're
Yeah.
ceramic. They're
She
like,
sent me a
they're
picture, and they're like this
more
thick
than
ceramic,
an eighth of an inch
and
thick, and it broke them. Like
They were
packing on a
determined.
full wheel.
We've used them because our chickens started eating our
Yeah.
eggs. And it's helped deter them, but yeah, within a year they broke them.
Huh.
I don't know if they like knocked them out of the nest, or
Well-
what,
Right.
and then it got brittle.
Trying
And
to figure out which
pecking at
chickens
it.
are
Well,
doing that.
one of
I'm
them, one of
the
the
chicken stew.
okay, one of the eggs got really poopy. The other egg,
Oh.
it broke.
Yeah.
Basically, I think it broke because of the coldness.
Was it during the winter?
Yeah, it was during the
that
big
would make
winter
sense.
storm when
See,
we
I
lost
just gave
power.
her the eggs on Monday, and she sent me a picture yesterday that they had already broken it. They like pecked through the egg.
Already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Wow,
like
they are determined.
Yeah.
they're like crazy for eggs, so that's not really a good deal.
Let's see. 2 more questions. Do you want more chickens, and if yes, how many and what kinds?
We'll probably end up getting more. It's not really a matter of like necessarily like, oh, I want more chickens, but I mean, we got a rooster, so we're gonna try to
make more.
hatch some eggs and see like what that's like.
One last question. Do you have what's like your number 1 advice or tip for anybody who's wanting to start raising chickens?
Just do it. It's pretty easy.
I would say get prepared to take on other farm animals because it's everybody always says it.
It's the gateway
animal. Like you find out it's fun and easy and actually useful, and then before you know it, you have goats and sheep and talking about other things.
You're gonna
and-
get rabbits.
Yeah,
you're saying,
rabbits
so it's
and-
the gateway animal.
But I would recommend it. It gets you way more connected to how things work in nature, and it just seems so much more natural than shopping for things. And it kind of opens up a new avenue of thinking about food and resources. And I really like how everything is kind of recycled. Like every bit of food scraps that I have either goes to the compost or to the chickens. They turn it into eggs that we want, we need, and how they just eat up all the bugs. And then all their poop and wood shavings and stuff go right into our different gardens and into our compost, and just makes everything grow so good. And we don't have to buy a bunch of fertilizers from the stores or chemical things. Like everything's just closer to being all natural. And we just like that.
I never met anybody that says, "Man, I wish I didn't get chickens." Like most people get them and they like them, they enjoy them, And some people really find them like therapeutic too, like watching them. And I think they're pretty and they're fun to watch.
Like when we first got them, the kids named them all too. They were like had different names for all of them because they actually have more personality than you would think. There's different ones and different attitudes and bossiness, and you know,
each one has its own personality. Yeah,
they have different spots where they sleep, and there's the pecking order, and it kind of shows you a little bit of the beginning of that. And as you get different animals, you see the same thing but different. There's different, like with our goats, there's different ones who are the queen and the subdominant one that just follows that one around.
The pecking order, yeah, you'll start seeing the pecking order, yeah.
It's kind of cool. At first you think it's like kind of a little bit mean, but they sort it out, they figure it out, and then it just becomes like not really like aggressive or...
Yeah, it's just them finding their place. And,
yeah, it's like high school or junior high or something, right? Like,
yeah.
Where's your place?
Yeah. All right, thanks everybody for joining us on another episode of the Maine Chicken Tender. We really appreciate you coming by, and we will see you on the next one. Might eat once in a great while.
So it does.
Like, hey,
I'm a chicken. This is my video. I should be the star.
That's funny. Yeah, right. This is a chicken video. Why is it all about people?
You know, all your newer ones keep coming up, so you're always producing and having healthier.
Hopefully.
Chicken is going crazy. That's funny.
That's cruel and unusual punishment right there.
I agree, but it's hilarious.
It is pretty funny. Yeah, you'll be laughing until she pecks your window broken.
Break my window. Sorry,
all right, you can put it down, Blake.
Like this since 1947.
Oh, wait, they're hungry.
There's a chicken in the window.
Wait, put some food for them. They're hungry.
We could let them out. We can let them out if you want.
Freedom. It's only 2 o'clock.
Only 2.
Jeez.
We can let these ones out.